another lovely day outside and another day staffing the shop, but I've got some questions to answer today. So let me get a cuppa and let me count the floor, get all these spinners outside and open the shop, and we'll see where we are. I've got my sketchbook out as well because you know the drill by now. We sketch when we're here. And then let's get this video started. So I'm just looking through my sketchbooks from the last time I was in the shop, which is 2 days ago, and I'm really still completely in love with these pigeons. For the last few times that I've been out, I've been so in love with drawing people and trying to capture expressions, but they've all been line drawings because I'm trying to catch like quick movements. So rather than trying to make it a more finished illustration, I mean, sketchbooks aren't necessarily for finished illustrations, but instead of making it like full of colour and like filled in block colours, I've just been doing line drawings because it's quick and people move. But these pigeons are, there's just something about them. So tomorrow, or today if you're watching this when it comes out, I'm going to be doing a work together Zoom session on my Patreon, and I think I'm going to put this, I might scan this into my computer, print it out in A4, put this on my lightbox and make this a bigger sketch to make into a poster, because I think that would be very cute. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow, or today if you're watching this now. If you would like to get involved in things like this, so I do Zoom drawing sessions every month on my Patreon, and this is like a one-off work together session because I felt like I needed a bit of accountability this month. So I decided to do a kind of pop-up work together via Zoom where you'll get plonked in the corner of my studio and we'll just all work together for 45 minutes, and it's a bit of accountability to get that job done. If you're interested in those kind of things, you should probably check out my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Emma Woodthorpe. On my lowest tier, which is £1, you get access to all of that stuff. So you get access to my monthly drawing sessions, any kind of pop-up work sessions that I might do in the future. You get sketchbook tours, you get monthly downloads. I've only got 2 of the tiers. The second tier is the Double the Love tier, which is exactly the same as the lower tier, but you might be in a better place financially to kind of support me more, and you might want to, no obligation at all. So basically Double the Love is the same as the first one. So really I've got 2 tiers. So apart from those ones where you get all of the live stuff, the other one is the VIP Very Interested in Publishing tier, where I just pop snippets of information about self-publishing and traditional publishing as and when I get them, and it's like a resource that you can kind of dip into and you have access to all of those things. On that tier, you also get access to the draw together sessions and the working sessions. So if you're interested in the working sessions, you should definitely check out the lowest tier on my Patreon. No obligation, obviously, but it's there if you're interested. So while you're watching this today, if you're watching this live, I'm going to be going live in my studio for 40 minutes with a bunch of my patrons, so that'll be nice. While I'm here talking about sketchbooks, one of my patrons asked, so Martine asked, let me find her question actually. Okay, I've got it. So Martine asked, regarding my pigeon drawings, did you take your big roll of colour pencils with you, or did you just happen to have the right pigeon colours to hand? So I thought that was a good question to ask, and I'll show you actually what I take out with me when I go observational sketching. It might be more than some people, and it's probably more than I need, but I like to take enough that I've got choice. So yeah, Martine is right. I do have a big roll of pencils. Through trial and error, I have tried many different colours, many different types of pencils. A lot of this was helped by my sister's clear out. She had a clear out of her art supplies, and she gifted a load of those to me. So I've kind of trialed and errored and found the kind of colours and tones that I like, but I've kind of bring out a rainbow selection, but they're all, it's not just like scarlet red, bright orange and all that kind of stuff, it's tones of orange and red that I like, but I've organised them in a rainbow, so that really helps for me. Regarding the pigeons, I had the pigeon colours in my roll. I just used what I had. And I think that's one of the keys for sketchbooking is don't get too precious about having the exact right colours. If I didn't have those blues and greens and purples, I could have done it in reds and yellows and pinks. It would still be recognisable as a pigeon. I think that's also one thing that the 3 materials drawing challenge really helped me with. Just using what you have to make an image work, if that makes sense. So the 3 materials drawing challenge, as you can probably guess, is you only use 3 materials to draw a scene, something to illustrate something in 30 minutes. So you draw something from life, and you might not have all the colours that are right in front of you. So sometimes you'll be drawing people with purple hair that don't have purple hair, and that's fine. I mean, you're sketchbooking, you're not creating finished pieces. So that would be my takeaway from the sketching I've done every day, almost every day since January, is just use what you've got and start where you are. It sounds really pithy and it sounds like something you'd find on a tea towel, but it really is the best advice. And you don't have to use your sketchbooks for finished pieces. Make a bunch of mess, make people look like aliens. Do it, because that's the only way you're going to learn. Right, so let me show you what I bring with me, bearing in mind that I could just take 1 pencil and 1 piece of paper. But this is like my ideal, what I like. If I've got the space in my bag, this is what I like to take. Okay, so as I've already shown you, I've got a pencil roll. This was gifted from my sister. It is a Derwent pencil roll. I really like it. It, as you would have guessed if you've never seen it before, it rolls up and clips, and I never used to like these before. I just used to think a pencil case will do, but what's really good about this is when you start using more than one material, more than 1 or 2 favourite materials, you work so much quicker because everything's laid out for you and it doesn't roll away or blow away. So there's that. My favourite colours at the moment in this are Pompeian Red 191 in the Polychromos pencil. They're almost all Polychromos pencils. Naples Yellow 185 and Dark Indigo at 157. Some of the things that are quite handy to have in this roll are these things. If you've watched some of my videos before, you'll know these are Ecoline brush pens, and they can be refilled with the Ecoline watercolours. So unlike the Tombos, so these were gifted by my sister, once they're used up, they can't be refilled. So I wouldn't normally buy things that can't be refilled because it's a waste of plastic, but I've got them in there because it's a waste of plastic if I don't use them, so I might as well use them. But these are great, and I've got 374 pink beige, 226 pastel yellow, and 728 warm light grey. And these colours are great for your first kind of underdrawing. So if you're going to do a sketch, you might want to do the outline or the block out some colours in these, and then you can sketch on top of those, and it just adds a bit of depth. So you can put pencil on top of them and it adds a bit of depth. Or because they're watercolours, you can add water to them and you can reactivate them when they're dry. So they're good things in my pencil roll that I really like. Another thing in my bag is this box of nails. It's not a box of nails, it's actually a box of crayons. So I've got a bunch of Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s, and they're crayons, but they're also water soluble. So Caran d'Ache do crayons, they do Neocolor 1s and Neocolor 2s. And the Neocolor 1s are just normal crayons. You can put water over them and they resist the water. These are Neocolor 2s, and when you put water on them, they turn into basically watercolour. So you can use them as paints, but also as crayons. So it's like 2 materials in one. I really like those. I should probably get another yellow one. I've stopped using that because it's running out, so I should probably get another one of those. So yeah, and that's just an old tin that belonged to Andy's granddad. Pencil sharpeners. for many shapes of pencils. Brush pens. These are great. I never used to understand them before, but now I do. So these are Jackson's Own brush pens. I'll pop a link to these down below. I do have an affiliate link, so my link down below will take you to Jackson's, and if it's your first time buying from Jackson's, they'll give you, I think it's 10% off your first order, and I'll get a small commission for every order that is placed through my link. So even if this isn't your first time using Jackson's, if you have an order coming up and you know you're going to use Jackson's, if you click my link, then you'll be helping me anyway without costing you any more. So the water brushes, the Jackson's ones come in a pack of 3, and they are by far the cheapest ones that I've found. But I would pay more money for them as well. So even if you can't find the Jackson's ones, or they don't deliver to you, or they're all out, water brushes are really useful. I like the pack of 3 because they come in 3 different brush end sizes. So the brush tip is, they've got 3 different sizes of those. What's good about these is that you can either use them just to take water, so you can see there's water in those. So you can just take water with you and use it instead of like a normal paintbrush. So instead of taking a tub of water and a paintbrush, you can just take this, and it's just like perfect. Or you can fill them with your favourite colours. So these are just the Ecoline watercolours, and you can use them, so if you know you're going to be doing a character, for instance, so this one is the Vermilion, and I've been using this for a fox character that I've been sketching a lot, and it's just a lot easier than taking the paint and a brush and water. You can just pop it all in there and it's good to go. Pencil extenders, perfect for when you're running out of pencil. So I've got a few random ends of pencils in my bag, and the pencil extenders just do what they say, they extend pencils. I have an eraser. I tend not to take a rubber when I am sketching because mistakes are valuable. I don't want to erase my mistakes, really. That would make me get too precious with my sketchbooks. So if I'm, you know what I mean, like if I'm erasing a mistake, it's like, oh, I did it wrong. And there's no such thing as wrong. In a sketchbook, you're learning and you're making judgments, and if you erase all of your past mistakes, you might be doomed to make them again, if that makes sense. But these are kneadable erasers. They're really useful when you're using charcoals because you can mould them. Oh God, I've broken that. You can mould them into whatever shape you want. So you can mould them into a tip. And when you're using charcoals, they're very easily erased. So if you want to add highlights, you can just add them with an eraser. So I'll tape that back together in a second. And in that vein, charcoals. So in this tin I have willow charcoal or vine charcoal, which is the stick which has been burned, and I've also got some charcoal pencils which are just they've got a bit more structure to them, not as loose, so they're good for adding more detail on them. And I love a bit of charcoal. Oh, I've also got a smudger, but I tend not to use them. I always use my fingers. And the great thing is if you're taking a kneadable eraser, when you're stretching that to make it usable again, it also cleans your hands. Perfect. And then I've just got some miscellaneous things in here, a couple of pencils that are too short to put in my roll but haven't extended them yet, a craft knife to cut pencils that keep breaking, that might be a bit temperamental with a pencil sharpener, so I find a craft knife sometimes is beneficial. And then I've got a paper bag for emptying my pencil sharpeners when I don't have a bin nearby. So that's that. The last time I was staffing a couple of days ago, I popped a post up on my Instagram that asked people to ask me questions that I could answer in these sessions, and someone popped a question on that said, I love watching your videos, thank you very much, and what sketchbooks are you using at the moment? So my sketchbooks are the cheapest ones I could find. I used to spend a lot of money buying expensive sketchbooks, and you know what happened with those sketchbooks? I've still got them and they're still mostly empty. There are some sketchbooks that you can get out there that have like watercolour paper. Let me put you down. So they have like watercolour paper in them which will hold water better than the cheaper paper ones. But my thinking is, if I'm sketching and I'm practicing, and if I want to get better and I want to make mistakes so that I'll learn from them, I want a paper and a sketchbook that I am not too precious about. So I've done my most sketching ever using these cheap sketchbooks. And I get these from a shop called Hobbycraft. Someone who I know, and I can't remember where they said to get it now, but someone who commented on one of my videos, I think, said that they found similar sketchbooks to these cheaper in, I think it was Ryman's, I might be wrong, I'll have a look, but basically I just find the cheapest sketchbooks I can. These come in a pack of 3 at Hobbycraft, and I think they're $4.50 for a pack of 3, I think, and there are 20 page, hang on, let's find out, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there are 20 pages, so 40 sides in each of these. The paper is like cartridge paper. I think they've changed the paper in them recently because they used to handle watercolour better. Now when I use watercolours, more often than not the colour seeps through to the other side, but I don't really mind. It's a sketchbook. It stops me being too precious. If I did all of my best work in my sketchbooks, I think I'd never sketch. And well, in fact, I know I'd never sketch because I used to think that's how sketchbooks worked. I used to think that you did perfect, pretty pictures in perfect, pretty sketchbooks, and that's fine. If you do that, that's fine. If that works for you, that's fine. But the pressure, the pressure I had to, every time I opened my sketchbook, I had to do a beautiful, amazing picture. I mean, where was I ever expected to practice and get better? If everything was meant to be Instagrammable or, you know, like Pinteresty, and it's not sustainable for the majority of people who draw. Your sketchbook really, I mean, I don't want to be prescriptive, you do you, but your sketchbook really should be a place where you're not self-conscious, where you don't have to share it. I know I share a lot of what I do, but it's because I'm not really precious about what goes in there. Sorry, customers come first. Yeah, basically I get the cheapest that I can. So I get mine from Hobbycraft and they're A5, so let me put you down again. They do them in A5, which is this kind of size, head size. They also do them in A4, which is this size. And then they do them in A3, which is that size again. So double that. And I get all of the sizes from those, but these A5 ones are my outdoor observational sketchbooks, and the bigger ones tend to be when I'm exploring like characters and colour and just playing in the studio, just because they're easier to carry around. So I hope that answers your question. I'm going to get on and do some sketching now. I'll probably try sketching some people that are outside, and if that doesn't work, I'll get on the old internet again and draw some things. in between customers, I've done 2 pages of chickens and roosters from Google Images. I had to stop in the end because just the images of factory farm chickens were getting a little bit depressing. Also, I think I wasn't developing anymore. I've got a chicken down.